Good afternoon and welcome everyone to AvaTrade live Q&A webinar. My name is Daniel. I'll be giving you the webinar today. Let's begin with a quick introduction to the webinar, what will happen in every step. We will begin with the common questions that we've gathered from previous webinar, from this previous webinar, and so on. Then we have dynamic questions that you guys will put down from the audience that we will address. And then I'll share with you some links, information, and webinar privileges that will be given at the end of the webinar. Okay, so let's review the questions that we have. First, before we get to the good part, let's go through the disclosure. I would like to make sure that any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only and should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Okay, and I would like to make sure that the webinar is recorded as well, so I'll be right back and we will begin. Thank you very much. Okay, it seems in place. It seems that everything is in order. We're going to begin with reviewing what questions we're going to have today, and then we'll know how to address them in the most efficient way. So the first one that we've got is how much money do I need to open 0.01 with gold? Okay, that's a great question. I guess that the question is referring to how much margin, how much balance or margin is necessary to open 0.01 with gold, which stands for 1 unit of gold. Okay, how can I know when there is an important event coming? Okay, so this is also a great question. Should I use signals or do my own analysis? Okay, very interesting one. What is the best amount to begin with? I think that this is the most common questions that I have got in the live Q&A since we've started the concept. What's the best amount, right? Everybody would like to say to know what's the best amount to begin with. And the last question is, what is better long-term or short-term? I get that the question is referring to a strategy. What would be better, long position or short position? In general, we have few trading styles which we will discuss later on. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this lovely question and we're going to paste it in a notepad. Okay, let's see how can we get ourselves a nice notepad. Should be okay. And we're going to paste the question. Okay, just a second, and great. Okay, so with gold. So to put down gold, as you can see now, we are marked on something else, AUD/JPY. I would like to clarify that the platform that we are seeing now is called the Web Trader. Okay, and the Web Trader can be, you can get to the Web Trader if you log into AvaTrade with your email and password. Okay, and as soon as you've done that, you're supposed to see the platform. Otherwise, you can contact customer service or your senior account manager, and they will apply the platform on your account. Okay, now, how can I get to gold from AUD/JPY, which we are looking at right now? Let me expand the chart. Okay, let's suppose that this is the asset that we're looking at right now, and we would like to see gold, okay, for the sake of the question over here. So we can put down gold in two ways. We can search your gold, which is the obvious thing, right? In this search field, I can search the asset by its name or by its symbol. As an example, oil, right? Oil from all of its forms, or I can put down CL and then crude oil. Now, the other way is to look for an asset by the categories that we have. One of them is commodities, and then we're going to go to metals, and then we will choose gold. As you can see here, the asset that we're looking at is AUD/JPY, and as I said, the other way besides searching the gold over here is to just go by the categories to commodities, and then metals, and then gold. Okay, this is just 3 clicks away. Then what I'm going to do to open here the nice field that we have, the side menu, is to click sell or buy. Let's go with a buy. And then we're going to click here on the 2 tiny arrows to expand the screen to make it easier for us. Okay, now when I'm looking at this chart, I can see that right here I have the price. On the right hand side, I have the bid, the buy and the sell, the bid and the ask. Yeah, the buy and the sell. Okay, we'll understand later on perhaps what it means, the bid and the ask. There is also a nice thing here that is called a spread. Okay, and our question today was how much money do I need to open 0.01 with gold? Okay, now logically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1,927. Okay, this is price per unit. Okay, and I'm going to multiply that with whatever quantity that I need. So in our case, let's put down 0.01 and see. This is just a single unit. We're gonna, even though the question is referring to just a single unit, I would like to do this exercise for more than a single unit so you guys will understand the difference and do the calculations by yourselves. So we have here, okay, this is 1 unit. So the value for this position is going to be exactly as it's written. And let's suppose that in another case, I would like to buy 20. Okay, just as an example. So the value for this one is going to be 1927 multiplying 20. Should drag this guy over here. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply that by 20. Okay, perfect. 38,540. And we have, let's suppose that in another case, I would like to buy 100. Okay. Now this is okay. So 1927 with 2 zeros. Just for the sake of the discussion, right? Okay. Now, what happens is this is the value, right? Is this truly the amount that I need to open the position? This is how much it costs out of my account. Do I need the balance, my balance to be compatible with the value? Is this really the amount that I need, right? Actually, no. Why not? Because what we're doing here is called CFDs. CFDs, and CFDs are contract for difference, and that means that we are leveraged, and that means that our ability is much higher than the balance itself. So with gold, our leverage is 1 to 20. Okay, that's very important to remember that the leverage is not universal, right? The leverage is perhaps universal in some groups, like currencies. Maybe some currency pairs shares the same leverage. For stocks, it's very various. Let's say maybe some commodities share the same, maybe some indices, but at the end of the day, every asset has its own leverage defined. Now, how does that has an impact on our account? Because we don't really need the 9,027. We need 1927 divided by 20. Because if we are multiplied by 20, we can divide a value by the leverage. And then we have the margin impact. Now, that's the beauty when you're using the web trader. Okay, this lovely platform, what it lets you see is exactly that. You don't have to even do that calculation, right? So this question, how much money do I need? I could simply tell you guys, this is how much he needs. right? This is how much we need. But I'm showing you the manual way in case you're using MT4, MT5, or whatever platform that doesn't show you the margin impact. Okay, but to get to the margin impact, I have to divide the value by the leverage, and then I have the margin impact. Okay, so in this case, as you can see, if I divide 1927 by 20, this is the number that I get. Let's do a quick check. Okay, so this is the number. Now let's suppose that it would have been 38,000, right? If we said 20 value, 20 units, so 38,540 divided by 20. This is the amount that I would truly need, right? Actually, the leverage matches to the, let's change it to 50, and it would be more interesting because I've calculated the same leverage, and the leverage is the amount of units that we choose. So let's say 50, right? So this is 96,000. Okay, and if I divide this by 20, so there we go. This is the true amount that I need, and not really almost 100,000. Okay, same apply with one lot. There is no really need to do that. I'm sure. Are there any questions? Any questions regarding what I'm explaining right now about the leverage or anything that I've explained so far? Any questions? And I forgot to mention, guys, that the purpose of this webinar is to let you ask all of your questions related to trading, related to strategy, related to anything. Okay, to AvaTrade, about me, about the strategy, anything that you want, you can ask in this webinar. This is a live Q&A webinar. So don't wait until I get to the topic to ask you questions. Okay, you can put down all questions all the time and I will address it accordingly. Okay, so let's carry on. It seems like we don't have any questions regarding what I've explained, so that means that everything is clear, so we're going to carry on. Let's just put the answer here. We're going to make it a little smaller to match. Okay, how can I know when there is an important event coming? Okay, so there is something called economic calendar, which we are going to see now. Economic calendar, right? Okay, and the way that it works is very, very simple. I can choose whatever. Let me just show you. Okay, so let's also paste the question here, perhaps with the answer itself. Okay, and the way that I'm using an economic calendar is very, very simple. So let's suppose that I'm going to go through on those 3 lines. If I click it, it's going to open a nice menu. Okay, let me just remind, this is the web trader. The web trader you can access with logging into the website with your email and password. Okay, now when I'm clicking on the Trading Central, it's going to show me some some tabs here. Now I can click on the tabs economic calendar. Okay, and what happened is, as you can see, there is a menu here that folds, and I can scroll down. I can scroll down to a point that I need. Okay, so let's suppose that as an example right now, I am looking for something specific, a specific country. As I was explaining, the question that we are addressing is how can I know when there is an important event coming? So this here, let's recap how we got here. Okay, so we were looking at the chart. Okay, and to get to the economic calendar, what I must do is I click here on the 3 lines, and then I go to Trading Central, and then I have here one of the tabs is economic calendar. Okay, now if I scroll down, as you can see here, the countries are defined by categories. Okay, so if, for instance, I would like to choose US, right, as an example. So I click here on the box and it marks everything. And if I click again, it delink everything, and then I can choose only United States, right? I can clean by clicking on the box. It let me filter whatever country I need. Let's suppose that instead of US, I'm going to go with England, right? With UK. So I'm going to click here on UK, and after I've cleaned the list, it's going to show me only UK events related, right? If I put UK and US, it's going to show me them combined. Now, one of the beautiful thing about an economy calendar that is in Trading Central is that it shows you here the impact of how much significant the event is going to have on the market. So if we're looking at right now, I see that mostly everything has good impact. Let's get rid of UK just for a moment so I can show you the difference. Okay. There you go. So no, those are also high impact, high impact. So sometimes you'll see an event that doesn't really has so much an impact, and then it's not gonna be written here high. It's gonna be regular. Okay, and here you can see the actual, what happened. Those are things that already occurred, right? This is yesterday, just to be on the to be sure. So this is yesterday, right? We have how much importance, like we said. This is what actually happened, actual result. This is the forecast. This is before. So what we anticipated to happen. And this is the previous of similar announcement. This is the retail sales month February, right? But we have the previous, we have the January one. So this is what happened on January, right? As you can see here, this is the retail sales report in US. So this is what happened last time. Now, usually it happens the other way around. We have what happened last time. Due to that, we're gonna compose a forecast, and then we're gonna see the actual. As you can see here, if we go down, we don't have actual on things that obviously didn't happen, right? But we have the previous and we have the forecast. In here, as an example, we find that could be a lower result than previous, right? This is a smaller figure than that. Let's see. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Okay, this one is higher than that. This one is higher than that. In here, we see decrease, right? All right, so we're gonna carry on. So this is the answer for the question that we had. How can I know when there is an important event coming? Okay, all right. So the next question, do we have any questions regarding that? Anything that is not fully understood? All right, great. So let's carry on. Let's carry on. I hope that the sound is working, because for some reason, oh, okay, it's working. Okay, so let's carry on. We're gonna take this question back to the present. Okay, we already have the answer here. Perfect. Should I use signals or do my own analysis? Okay, so this is an interesting one. I think one of the interesting questions that we had so far. And let me guys ask you a question, okay? Let me ask you this question and tell me what you think. As a beginner, okay, and not even as a beginner, let's suppose that I've been trading for a year and a half, maybe 2 years or more, and right now I want to use signals. First of all, what are signals? Okay, signals are instructions, what to buy or sell, right? Those are signals. Signals can be, as an example, Apple is going up. Okay, right now let's bring up Apple. Okay, signal can be, as an example, Apple is heading up to a certain price. When it gets to 155, take a buy, right? Right now, Apple is trending up and you can take a buy. Great, great. So signals, is that something I should use? Is that mandatory, or I should do my own analysis? What do you think? Okay, so Frank here wrote do my own analysis. So Frank, from my understanding, you're not a big fan of Signal, but if you can elaborate a little more, why would you do your own analysis and not use Signals? Anybody else? Anybody else? What do you guys think? Should I use Signals or do my own analysis? Okay, so we have an answer from question from George. Why choose? What do you mean by that, George? Why choose if to do analysis or to use Signals? That's the question. But you should do both. Okay, that's an interesting insight. I should do both. So that means that I should use Signals and do my own analysis. Okay, okay. Simon here is also stating that he's using Signals as a beginner. Okay. Okay, so George, combining between Signals and analysis gets you to a better result. Okay, you might be right. Look, so guys, let me elaborate a little bit about using Signals and using analysis and how to do that. So basically, analysis is divided to two kinds of analysis, as you know. We have analysis. We have a technical analysis, and we have fundamental analysis. And signals are, like I said, only instructions. They are only instructions. They don't turn you to a better trader. They don't give you strategy. They're just instructions. Okay, what to buy or sell. If those instructions are good, and we know how to use those instructions to embed them in our strategy, thumbs up. But without doing analysis, if I'm blindly going to follow somebody's instructions, how can I be so sure that it's going to work? I can't, right? I don't have a way to estimate that those instructions are going to be reliable on the time. So I can use the instructions, but still I have to have some grip on what am I doing with my margin, with the strategy, with the approach that I'm taking. We also have a question here about, as you can see, what is better, long-term, short-term. Okay, I must have a grip on those things. Otherwise, the instructions are not going to get me better. They're just going to lead me to either make a profit or a loss. That's all. Okay, that's basically my answer. So I guess that whoever put down this question, should I use Signals or my own analysis, I would definitely go with use both. Okay, or maybe like George put down, you can combine them both to get the better result. Couldn't say it in a better way. Okay, so use both. Now Signals, to be frank, Signals, if you find yourself a good signal provider and it's working for you, great. The thing that I would use instead is I would go to AvaSocial. AvaSocial is an application that we have, AvaSocial. And what you do there is you can see other traders and you can follow other traders and you can copy other traders, which is giving you much better indication of how a strategy should work. And instead of receiving information from somebody how to buy or sell, which, like I said, this is a signal, we can see how somebody else is doing something and see if it works or not. Okay, but Signals is a nice attachment. I wouldn't rely only on it, but if it's good, so why not? That's basically my own opinion, my own answer. So let's put down here, use both. Okay, in a minute, I will expand a little about analysis. I just gave on a nutshell that there are two kinds, but perhaps we'll discuss this in a second. Okay, so what is the best amount to begin with? Let's try. Usually there is no really an immediate answer for this question, but let's try. So what is the best amount to begin with, guys? What do you think? This is actually so general. This question is so general. What do you think that is the best amount to begin with, guys? Few hundreds, few thousands, few tens of thousands, 100,000s. So the best amount to begin with, to my beliefs, is not a figure, right? It's not really a figure because that depends on a strategy, and that depends on the budget, okay? And I think that every individual has his own ambitions and his own goals. And that means that for somebody who has a certain amount lying to trade with, right? And he can afford it and it's good for his strategy. So of course you should go with it. We must remember though what we saw in the beginning when we looked at gold, right? That if I want to trade a certain asset and I want to go with the minimal position, with the minimum amount, so if I would go with a very small amount like 100 or something like that, right? So you can see that the margin impact is going to occupy 96% of my margin. I can't even take this position, okay? I mean, if I want to take another position with gold and I only have 100, so obviously I can't, right? Because this, so for instance, if I want to trade something else more expensive, like NASDAQ, right, is an example. So of course that with 100 I can't do that. Even with 500 I can't do that. I must have at least 1,000 because this is the leverage that I've been given. Okay? In this case, the best amount is not a figure. The best amount is it's a figure, but again, those things are the intervals who determines, to my opinion, what is the best amount. Okay, I wouldn't call it the best amount, perhaps the most suitable amount. Maybe this way, but yeah. So let's carry on. Do we have any questions? Anyone want to share with us any thoughts about this? All right, so let's carry on. Let's carry on, guys. Let's put those insights inside the presentation as an answer. At least we're going to try that. There we go. And we're going to put it underneath. Also going to put here, change it to 10. Perfect. Looks good, right? Okay. So the last question that we have is, what is better? What is better, long-term or short-term? Perhaps should be this way. All right. And as we can see, so what? All right. So what is better? Guys, what do you think that is better? Long-term or short-term? What do you think? Who here is trading long-term? Who here is trading short-term? Anyone who's scalping? Let's put down 3 trading styles. Right, so we have the first one, which is the fast-paced trading, as we know as scalping, right? Second one is intraday. Okay, and the third one is swing. Okay, so we have scalping, intraday, and swing. Who can tell me what is scalping? Let's suppose I've introduced into trading. Right now, I want to begin with currencies and I want to do scalping. So what does it mean, scalping? What must I do if I want to be a scalper, to trade scalping? Take many trades. Okay, so Bobby, write down take many trades. Okay, what do you mean by take many trades? You must spend a lot of time. Okay. But guys, what does that mean? To scalp. Okay, scalp. So let's suppose I want to open here currency. Let's go with Euro USD or Euro JPY. Okay. USD CAD, GBP USD. Okay, so let's go with that. All right, so scalping, that means that Thundo, I think that scalping is to put a position and close quickly. Yes, okay. This is like I said, this is correct. This is correct. So if I would be scalping, just as an example, what I would do, those are 1 minute candle, okay, and that means that every candle here Latin, it's trading a short time like open and closed fast position. Yes, absolutely. All of you guys are right. So scalping in terms of a strategy, right? I can't really call it a strategy, just a way to trade, right? It could be a strategy, but never mind. So those are 1 minute candle. Okay, if you don't believe me, I'm gonna show you that. I'm not gonna get any information, just to clarify. As soon as I open the platform, right? Usually it comes this way without all the things. So I'm not gonna get any information from those candles, guys, unless I'm gonna change the crosshairs that I'm using from no crosshair to crosshair. You see, now I have info. Otherwise, no information. There is no information. I must change it first. Okay, and then to bring the side menu, I must click sell or buy. As you can see, now it opens, and I maximize the chart back. Okay, so here every candle is a minute. You can see, I want you to see it on the left upper corner. You can see here that it keeps on changing while I'm moving my hand, right? So this is still the 16th. This is still today, right? But those are all minutes. Those are all minutes. So this is what we are at now. This is a minute ago, 2 minutes ago, 3, 4, 5, and so on. If I switch here, so I switched from M1 to M5 or 5M, and then what I'm gonna see is 5 minutes candle. Okay, this one is a lovely bullish candle. You can see here there is a very nice tail at the bottom. It has a nice tail at the top. As you can see here, it's getting near to the resistance line. Okay, so never mind. We're not gonna get into that. But the idea is that if I would be scalping, those are the time frames that I would be looking at. And logically, if I go with the trend and not against the trend, you can see that right now I would be buying, buy. Okay, and in here, perhaps if it started going down, perhaps I would be selling. Okay, in here, selling. Okay, buying, selling, buying. Okay, now there is something that is called hedging. Right? Who can tell me what is hedging? Who knows what is hedging? What I'm scalping. So what is hedging? So hedging is a position on top of another position. Okay, as an example, I took a sell here. Okay, let's suppose that I took a sell here on 1.20478. Okay, let's suppose that I took a sell here. Let's see if we can get a round figure. Okay, let's suppose that I started selling here. Okay, when it was just a second here, right? So as an example, I started selling here, right? I started selling and then it climbed. Now, I can obviously if it goes up, so I'm losing money. Now, if I close the position, I lose the small amount because I have opened it and closed it almost right after, right? And if it goes higher, instead of closing the position and taking a buy, I can take a buy with my sell. Okay, let me repeat that one more time. First, sell, then I added a buy, right, with the sell. So I can close the sell. Like I said, if I took a sell and it's going up, I can close the sell. But if I took a sell and it's going up, to hedge means that I'm going to take the buy with my sell. Okay, I'm not going to replace, I'm not going to close the sell and take a buy. I can take with my with my sell, I can take a buy. Okay, that's hedging. I don't have to, I'm not saying if it's good or not. I'm just explaining what is hedging. Okay. Now, the logic behind this kind of decision is that I believe that in here would be some kind of resistance. Okay. It didn't happen. As you can see, it didn't happen, right? It did happen, but then afterwards it went bullish again. Okay, so the idea is that I would like to grasp as soon as I can, as much as I can from the small time frames. So buy, sell, right? If in the middle, if it rose, so I can close this buy later on, and then again, I could take a buy. Okay, just to be clear, on this area, it was down. Okay, on this area, let me just show you. In this area, it was down. You can see that there are a few candles that are bearish. Okay, bearish, like a bear who slammed his opponent to the ground. Bearish is a negative candle, it's a downtrend candle, and bullish, like a bull that lifted his opponent to the air, that's a positive candle. Okay, so this is scalping, like the audience said here and nicely. The idea is fast-paced trading. We took a buy, sell. I'm not sure about spending a lot of time on the computer, but it does require to be focused and be on the computer. Okay. Intraday. What is intraday, guys? Intraday, that means that I am between a few days up to a week kind of a trader. So what does that mean intraday? Who can tell me? Let's expand it and call it weekly, right? Right? So intraday weekly. Now, let's suppose that I'm looking at what I want to diverse for you guys to be able to enjoy as much variety of assets that I can, but it seems like our time is slowly running out. Let's say that we're gonna go with a coffee. Everybody likes coffee, right? Nobody can wake up without it. So let's switch from 1 minute to 1 day. Okay, intraday. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And we are looking at every day here is it's always best to buy on declining candle and sell on a growing candle. Not necessarily. Let me show you an example right now. Okay, so Thando here asked a very good question. Let me see. Perhaps actually I like this question, so I'm gonna paste it here. Oh, doesn't let me do that for some reason. Ah, there we go. Okay, thank you, Thando. Okay, let's carry on just another minute, and then I will address the question. So intraday, right? Intraday, as we understood, so the idea we spoke about scalping that was very fast, requires concentration and some time on the chart. Okay, we can hedge with scalping. Okay, now we see daily candles. Why there is no information? Because of that, right? We've learned we must change the crosshair. Now, as you can see here, every candle is a day, right? Let's check the date over here. So this is today, 15th, 14th, 13th, weekend. Okay. Now we have a bunch of bearish candles. As you can see, a downtrend that is defined over here. Okay, now the idea with intraday is that I can take a position from a day up to roughly a week, sometimes a little more, but then we slowly sliding into swing, which we'll speak about in a moment. Okay, and in intraday, the idea here is that my goals are for the midterm. Let's call it midterm, okay? Midterm. Now, if I'm looking at the levels over here, this is actually I must explain about support and resistance, otherwise it will be difficult, I'm afraid, to understand my explanations. Okay, so let me break it down to you guys. We have two edge points in every chart. This is not related to which, it doesn't matter what type trader you are. Still, we have two things we must acknowledge: support and resistance. Okay, and their job is to define certain roof, ceiling, and floor to every chart. Now, those levels helps us indicate an extreme point for the asset to either turn around or breach. As an example, let me, small time frames. Okay, as an example, that is a lovely support. That is a lovely resistance. Over here, it's also a lovely resistance. Okay, this is, as you can see, it's a resistance. This one could be support. You can see this is similar, right? This is the resistance, but in here, that's the support. So every time the asset is going through the support and resistance, it's creating another vice versa value. Therefore, if it broke, if it reached 190, it passed 194 and got into 100, as an example. Okay, so this becomes the new resistance, right? The resistance will be the higher one. Let me just put it here. Okay, and support is the, like we said, the floor. That would be that. Okay, just as an example, we're going to take a closer one. This one. Okay, this is the recently created, right? We had the previous, okay, so this is the support, right? 171, so this is the lowest point that coffee has been since a few days ago, since the 30th, since 2 weeks ago. Okay, but before that, what was the actually it didn't break it. Let's see if it broke or not. This one is 171.25, 171.42, just by a bit, just by few cents. Okay, but as you can see here, there is another support line. That coffee couldn't break, right? That coffee couldn't break. But if it would have broke 167, the next support line is much lower, right? Is much lower. So this is another. So the conclusion for what I'm saying right now is that there is no support and resistance that is individual, right? There are levels of support and resistance. Many levels of support and resistance. Okay, we don't have to pay attention to all of the levels, but obviously it has an impact on how our analysis is going to go. So why am I telling you about support and resistance? Because if I am an intraday trader and I'm looking at days, right now it seems like coffee has went up considerably today, right? From, I could just see the open, but still I want to mark it for you guys, from 173, which is here, to 178. Now, if I believe, like we said just a minute ago, this is a resistance, this is a resistance, okay? So either I am going to, if I believe that it's going to break the resistance, so I'm going to take a buy now, okay? Perhaps I will wait for it to drop a bit. As you can see, it dropped from 180, and then I'm going to take a buy. Or if I don't believe that it's going to break the resistance, perhaps it's going to get to 180, and it's going to show a sign of retracement, okay? How can that happen? As an example, you see this tail over here. So let's suppose we have another candle tomorrow or something, and tomorrow you're going to see this hammer candle. Let me summarize that for you quickly. Okay, this candle with a very unique look, right? You can see that its bottom is larger than the body itself. Its bottom tail, it's larger than the body itself, and this is why it's a hammer. It has the handle, it has the body, and it has the continuation. It has here a smaller tail. Let me see if we get similar to this. Similar to this. This is only a hammer. This is also a hammer, right? All of those are signs that the asset potentially can turn around, and it did, right? It did, fell slightly, and then it climbed again. Now, if I have another candle like this in roughly in here, in this level, what do you think that potentially can happen? Okay, who asked me this question? Tando, I think that Tando, you asked me, is it always best? Is it always best to buy on declining candle and sell on a growing candle? Yeah. So as you can see here, this is the example. So if I have a hammer or I have another reason to believe that it's going to turn around, perhaps I can take a sell somewhere here, right here. But if I see a nice bullish candle and I see a trend that, as you can see here, we have a bunch of green candles, even though we have a black sheep here, but still the idea here is the agenda is up, so I can take a buy, no problem. Otherwise, if I have any reason to believe coffee is not going to break the resistance, so perhaps I would go with the sell. Okay, so I'm analyzing days. I'm analyzing days to come to a conclusion for the few next days. Okay, not like scalping, which in scalping my conclusions are immediate. Okay, I have no time to analyze days. It's not even relevant. I'm going to analyze minutes, and my decisions are on the spot. My decisions sometimes before I take the action, I already predict a plan B. What happens if? Okay, I also do that here, right? This is why I'm using pending orders, but less. It's less intense than the scalping. Scalping is on the spot. Intraday weekly. Okay, in swing, how much time we have left? Okay, so guys, we have 5 minutes left. I'd rather I'm gonna share with you here the links first. Otherwise, we won't have time for that at the end, and this is very important for me that you all guys enjoy that. I'm gonna put it here in the chat, guys. This is gonna be in the chat section. If you can see on the right hand side, you have the chat, and you have here all the links. In a moment, I'm gonna explain about each of the links. Okay, so the first one The education one, this is where you can find more information about education and learning, like the similar things to what we're learning on the webinars. If you want to recap by yourself or just read more and learn. Okay, so this is for login and deposit. Exactly as it is. FAQ and Help Center again for questions. If you want to address customer service, but maybe you can get the solution by yourself. So in here you can get an answer. This is for real account. Again, if you are done with the demo and you finally want to spread your wings, so this is for real account. The Academy is similar to the education, just with videos. Very, very nice. Guys, the first and the last link are for education that we don't charge a penny. We don't charge a penny other than different brokers. Then different brokers can ask you to pay a subscription or whatever else. So in here, you're getting it for free. Okay, so don't hesitate for a second. Use it and use it as many times as you want, as long as you want. And also, I would like to mention that this webinar will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube later on. So also, if you want to enjoy this webinar again, if you missed a part or you wanted to ask something but you forgot, so you can see the webinar again in our website and join us next week to bring your question to our doors. Okay, now, the last thing that I wanted to mention regarding the strategies, the types of traders. Okay, swing will be the last one that we're going to discuss today. Let's get rid of everything. Look how simple. Just in case you guys missed how I brought down the lines and how I brought down the frames. So this is just by clicking here on the tiny arrow. Okay, clicking on the tiny arrow brings down the list. With this list, I have all those nice things that I have pasted on the chart. Okay. Now swing. Let's suppose that right now I'm swinging with coffee. Okay, it's an option. And right now I'm looking at coffee 178. Okay, I switched to weeks. Okay, just to be sure here, I switched to weeks. Now we're going to switch to months. Okay, and I'm looking at a very, very interesting point for coffee. So 178. Now, I want you to look very carefully, guys, and tell me, what do you think that I should do if I would be a swing trader? Would I buy? Would I sell? Would I wait? What should I do? Let me help you a little bit. Okay, so what do you think that is the best idea if I'm a swing trader to do right now? To wait, to buy, to sell? Let's understand the options we have here. If we sell, we know that the next station for this train, like we said before, support and resistance, is 143. So for one lot, okay, 143. If I'm using the take profit, just to be clear, take profit is a price that I mark on the chart that the platform is going to remember that on 180. Sorry, that's definitely not what I'm aiming for. There we go. We are with a sell as an example. So if it gets to 145, it's going to close it on 145. And because we are holding 1,000 units, I'll be making $34,000. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now, if I would be swinging and I'm looking at months, this might be convenient for me. Why? Because it's been there. Last time that it's been there was January. January was 2 months ago. If I would be scalping, I wouldn't be bothered by that. Okay? If I would be intraday as well, perhaps it's not really attractive because it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time, but for a swing trading, okay, so that's more suitable. This is the idea. The idea with swing is that we are aiming for a movement that is not immediate, that is not a matter of a day or two, that is for the long run. Okay? The main advantage with swing is once your position is making profit and going to the right direction, you waste no time on your strategy. You just keep on floating and making money without doing a thing. This is again, like I said, when the predictions are right and the market is going to your direction. Okay? That means that it requires no time from you to do anything because the money is working for you. Okay, we have brief positions, we have positions that are a day up to a week or two, and we have long-term trading, which is the swing that we have explained about right now. I must say, guys, I'm gonna disappoint whoever put this question down. What is better? All of them are great. Okay, I don't know if this answer is acceptable, but this is my answer, guys. I don't think that something is better. I think that everything depends on the human being who is trading, the trader, and its lifestyle, and everything needs to be adjusted. Okay, but there is no better. There is no better. You can be scalping and make money. You can be swinging and make money. You can make money with everything as long as you have a good plan and strategy. So that's all it takes. Okay, so this is our time to say goodbye, guys. It seems like we exceeded 2 minutes, but it's fine because excuse me, guys, for beginning a little late. As you saw, we had some technical things we had to face with in the beginning, and I would like to thank you all for your patience. Okay. Let me give you the code here, special promotion code. This is Q&A benefit. This is gonna grant you with one-on-one premium market review with your personal senior account manager. Okay, and then your senior account manager is gonna give you the best thing that you can get, a market review. A market review with all kind of questions, just like we had today, but one-on-one, just you and him or you and her. And that's it. So use this code. I am pasting it on the chat. I'm gonna give you guys a minute to copy and paste the promotion code. And in the meantime, I'm gonna thank you all for coming today. It's been a pleasure. We're gonna carry on with another live Q&A next week in the at the same time. Hopefully, then we're not gonna have any technical difficulties. So that's it. Best of luck with your trading, guys. I wish you all to make a lot of money and have a good day.